Welcome shooters and collectors. Today we are going to take a look at two interesting pistols, the CZ75 Tactical Sport and the SAR K12 Sport. And I purchased this gun because basically it was cheap. It really was. It was very inexpensive and just couldn't pass it up. I'm a huge fan of CZ75s. It's my favorite gun to shoot. This one here is mine. It's my favorite gun to shoot. It's a range toy. I purchased it from CZ Custom many years ago, probably about, I don't know, 15 years ago or so. I had CZ Custom put on an adjustable kin sight, and then years later when the red dots came down in price and were far more prevalent on pistols, I had that installed as well on it, and I just love shooting this gun. It's a great gun. Another thing for this pistol, I've had actually a lot of things modified. I removed the recoil guide is actually plastic on this gun, and I had a stainless steel one put in. Also, I had CZ Custom put in a fiber optic front sight, and then I ordered the sear from CZ Custom, and I put it in. And if I had to do over again, I'd probably just have them put it in. It's a lot of work, it really is, because you have to go back and forth, and every time you go back and forth, you got to take everything out and cut it a little bit more, grind it down just a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. But once it's in and it's tuned, it's phenomenal. So let's take a look at both these guns, and I'll try to explain, a little bit of differences between, I'll call this, it's a real CZ75, and this is a clone. But first I'd like to say this is more of a clone of a Tenfoglio, which is of course a clone of a CZ75, but it's more of a clone of a Tenfoglio than it is of a CZ75, and I'll show that to you in a little bit. So, like I said, this one's been highly customized. It's got I removed the plastic trigger as well, and I have a metal one in. It breaks around 2 pounds, 2 ounces, actually it breaks around 2 pounds. And I'll show you just the trigger on it. There's your take up, that's it. That's the break. That's it. Reset, that's it. Very light, very nice. Comparing it to the K12, surprisingly, the pull weight on this is about 5.5 pounds, which is shocking. I thought it would be a lot less, in the 3.5 pound range, somewhere around there. But it's not. It's quite a bit. But again, the gun has not been shot much at all, and it will probably go a little bit lower over time. So before I try to do any modifications or anything to it, cleaning it up, whatnot, I'll shoot it a whole lot more. But I'll just show you the break on it. There's the take up, and that's the break. It's pretty clean. There's a little bit of travel on it, but overall it's pretty good. There is a over travel screw in the trigger right there. The CZ has one as well, and then there's a pre-travel screw on this trigger. That's why when you cock it, I mean, it just hits the wall right there. That's why it's adjusted to that. Overall, the fit and finish look pretty good. The barrel's looser, far looser on this. I'll try to show you that. You can just see the barrel moves around pretty good. On the CZ, I believe I put in a Cajun Gunworks front bushing on this, and it just doesn't move at all. It's super tight. It works really great. The length of the barrel is 4.5 inches on this. A little bit longer on this. I believe CZ says it's a 5-inch barrel, but that's not true, because CZ actually counts the feed ramp on the barrel as well as the total length. And I don't know anybody else that does that. They always, take it to the breech. And so it's a little bit under 5 inches, but so you got about a 1/2 inch more on the CZ than you do on the SAR K12 Sport. Some other features are the safeties are pretty much the same. The mag well is different. this one is plastic. You can get metal ones. You can get lots of different accessories for the CZ. This one is metal, as are the grips. The grips, I mean, I've barely shot this gun, and the grips got dirty really fast, and so did this as well, and so did the base plate for the mag. The mags hold 15 rounds for this, and the mags, of course, for the Tactical Sport hold 20. The mag on this is far wider than it is on this one. If you take one of these and just put it in the TS, you can tell it just is a lot looser. They don't interchange or anything like that. I don't know if this would interchange with a Tenfoglio. It would be nice if it did, so you have other options for magazines. But I don't know if it does or not. I did have a Tenfoglio Limited, which is a great pistol. In fact, it is probably the best pistol you could buy for the money in a 9mm double stack single action, till this came out. And as I recall, I was playing with them, and this slide would go on and lock up on a Tenfoglio. Of course, don't ever try it or shoot it like that, but that's how close together that they are. The pistol, this one has a little screw here, so you can remove the front side. It would be nice if they had a fiber optic sight, since they do have a nice copy of, it looks like a Kin sight, rear adjustable sight, windage and height, of course. The other thing that's kind of interesting, when I bought this, I think it came with like 3 or 4 additional slide releases, and this one, because apparently they break. And this one doesn't, it just came with one. I would like to hear comments on if other people have actually ever had one of these break on them, if it's really necessary. I mean, these guns were, you know, they're like IPSC pistols, and they're made to shoot tens of thousands of rounds. And so you know, maybe if you're doing something like that, but just at the range, I think I've only put 5,000 or 6,000 through this pistol, and it's held up extremely well. The finish on it, this I've heard is, if you've ever wanted to change if you don't like this finish and you want to change it, I hear it's just a nightmare to have somebody remove it. They did a phenomenal job with this. The checkering, I'm not the greatest fan on. I really am not. It looks like it's just part of the mold. They didn't really do anything with it, the front or back, and it doesn't really grip the way that the SAR does. The SAR has really nice checkering on it, and it's also raised. It's not just cut into the frame, but it's raised as well in the front and the back, and it grips really nice. For large hands, so I have large hands, the gun overall feels great as well. And if they had a bushing for this where this barrel would be a little bit tighter, that'd be about the only thing I can think of, and a fiber optic front sight I would think of for an improvement. The only other thing that bothers me about this gun is that it's a SAR pistol, and you just really don't know. You know, I bought guns back in the 90s, and they're, you know, here today, gone tomorrow, and if you part breaks on them, you could really be in trouble. It would be great if you knew that, like, this was almost a 1-to-1 copy of a Tenfoglio, and you could switch out parts. So if if the extractor broke, you could just drop one in, you wouldn't have a problem. I remember, like, one guy was complaining he had a Daewoo rifle once, and the extractor broke, and now the gun's a paperweight. So you do wonder about, you know, this is more of a newer company, and are they going to be around in 10, 15, 20 years, and will you be able to get parts for it? And that's really my largest concern about this gun, and the overall build quality over time. I've also had guns that, you know, they looked great. They just look like this, and turns out metal soft, you know, piece of junk later on down the road, 15,000 rounds down the road. You're not going to have that problem with the CZ. You really aren't. But then again, you know, if you find one of these, even if you find one used, it's probably going to run you $1,000. Nowadays, the new CZ TS2 runs around $1,500, and it has adjustable rear sights. I think it comes with a fiber optic front sight. Everything else is pretty much the same, except for the checkering. The checkering is now cut like this. But other than that, everything else is about the same. It's about 1,500 bucks. And I bought this for about $600. And that's a screaming deal. It really is. But will it hold up over time? That's the big question. A lot of other YouTubers out there have been shooting this, gone about 2,000 rounds. Haven't had problems yet with it, but 2,000 rounds is just really nothing to look at. But other than that, and I'll show you the inside real quick. Other than that, it seems like to be a really nice, well-built pistol. Comes in a just a case, manual, 2 mags, cleaning brush, and I will say the frame is a little bit wider on the TS than on the SAR, but overall, if you can take a look at that, looks like the ejector is a little bit longer than the TS. But the big difference, and the reason why this is more of a copy of a Tanfoglio than a CZ, is on the trigger. And you have this wishbone right here that goes around, that hits the sear, you know, it's the linkage there. And what it is, if you can see this, there's actually a little ramp right there. And the ramp pushes this up. And there's a spring, a hole cut in the frame, and there's spring, and this right here just pushes this up. And the CZ is different. It's actually has the, and this is really tough to see, but there's actually the springs on the outside, and it presses that up. So this is more, and this is the system that Tanfoglio uses. So it's more of a Tanfoglio actually than a CZ. Other than that, they are very similar. They feel great in your hands. This one, of course, is a little bit narrower than the TS in the grip. Not a huge fan of the metal grips. They look great and everything, but and they're okay, but they're just it's not my favorite. I really prefer, you know, really nice ones with palm swells and maybe a little bit of a shelf here for your thumb. But other than that, you know, time will tell about these guns. But if you're looking for a budget-friendly 75, I'd say this is it. Definitely, this for the money. It's going to be really hard to find anything out there that that is in this price range with these features, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun to shoot. So thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe or like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And have a good day.